Bail plea of PNB scam accused Nirav Modi has been rejected in a UK court.
And there is more trouble for fugitive Nirav Modi. Nirav Modi's sister Purvi Modi and her husband Maiank Mehta have turned approver for the Enforcement Directorate for assisting in confiscation of 2 flats in New York.
The principal case against Nirav Modi is that his companies obtained about 1,200 letters of undertaking from the Punjab National Bank between 2011 and 2017 without security and in collusion with bank officials. These letters were then made the basis of borrowing from other banks. Some of that money was used to repay the PNB to keep this money flowing, but the rest diverted to dummy companies owned beneficially by Nirav Modi. The net loss to the PNB as a result of this, more than $1 billion. The part repayment was itself illegal because that money could only have been used for the import of goods. The diversion, of course, and this is more the ED than the CBI part of the case, that was clearly illegal because that money was used for the benefit of Nirav Modi personally and of his family under cover of a good deal of bogus trading by way of circulation movement of goods, overvaluation and melting of gold in the jewelry. Nirav Modi's defense is that this was really a commercial dispute that got triggered into a crisis by the refusal of the PNB to continue lending on the same terms as before. Repayments had been made up to that point and that there was no problem with that. But when the terms of lending were changed, these led to a cash flow crisis, which meant that the PNB then complained to the CBI and Nirav Modi could not make the repayments to the PNB that he was perfectly willing to make. The defense is that the prosecution itself became the problem. It is Nirav Modi's contention that the government case is strong on allegations and low on evidence. He says no evidence has been offered that he is the owner of these so-called dummy companies that were said to have traded the way they did. No tracing of any money has been offered as evidence that would link the money received by these dummy companies to the LOUs from the Punjab National Bank. We do need to remember that this is not a trial of Nirav Modi, even if it sometimes looks that way. This is only a determination to see whether on the basis of prima facie evidence, he needs to be extradited to India to then face trial there. The court needs only to be convinced, so far as the evidence issue goes, that prima facie on the balance of probabilities, it would be right for Nirav Modi to be sent to face trial in an Indian court. The Indian government says that once these dummy companies were uncovered, Nirav Modi tried to threaten their directors into silence. They were sent to Cairo. His brother Nihal was sent to Cairo as well to keep them quiet. A Pakistani national was employed who threatened them and also destroyed the server of the secret email system through which correspondence had been conducted with these dummy directors. On this again, the Nirav Modi defense is that the government case is strong on assertions and low on facts. The defense team has said in court that no evidence has been offered that Nirav Modi or anyone from his family threatened any director of any company or tried to destroy evidence. But it must be said that this issue became a decisive matter before the courts when Nirav Modi applied for bail, and that has happened 7 times now, and on all 7 occasions bail has been refused to him because judges did believe that there were indications enough at least that there was an attempt made to destroy evidence and to threaten witnesses. That became the ground for denying bail. This whole question of evidence, one way or another, is not often the decisive issue, as we saw with Julian Assange. There, the magistrate accepted there were sufficient factual and legal grounds to extradite him to the US. That was refused on medical grounds. Assange was said to be depressed and suicide prone. Exactly the same defense has been argued in the case of Nirav Modi. He is said to suffer from a serious illness. He is severely depressed and suicide prone. That is what his defense team have said to the court and has backed it up with some medical reports and evidence from some psychiatrists who have examined him. Defense for Nirav Modi has argued also that the jail conditions where he is proposed to be kept in India in Mumbai are not good enough, particularly for someone suffering his kind of medical and psychiatric disorders. It has also been alleged that the Indian judicial system is not independent enough and that Nirav Modi, as a result, cannot expect fair trial. The Indian government has, of course, challenged all these claims, but it is with all these factors in mind that the magistrate will give a ruling expected within a few weeks.